Part 32. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 311. Guyao was embarrassed for a moment. He didn't dare to call his mother Chi appear. That was an elder. Yes, it is Senior Chi Xian, and I have some personal matters to share with Senior Chi. Cao Songbei. I felt a strange feeling in his heart towards Guyao, one senior sister Kai's mountain peak. Okay, thank you senior brother Cao. It's okay if someone leads the way. If you go alone, you can only find the general direction first, and then ask other monks when you get there. As for whether or not to expose Chi Changai's existence at that time, just listen to Aunt Kai's meaning. Auntie thinks Cao Songbei is credible, so it can be said. Seeing that Guyao did not object, Cao Songbei felt even more strange, because Guyao did not object to him following, so he did not doubt Shang Guyao's intentions, but just wondered when Guyao and junior sister Chi were involved. The two set off from Dangxia Peak. On the other side, Yin Shi, the master of alchemy, came to deliver medicinal pills to Qi Xian. When Zhongzhe bumped into it, Qi Xian was from Shangyin Shi asking for pills. Originally, Qi Xian should have picked it up in person or sent by Yin Shi's disciples, but Yin Shi and Qi Xian have always had a good relationship, and if they had something to tell her, they came in person. Qi Xian looked at the elixir, but the quantity was wrong. You gave me all the elixir that you made. Why don't you keep some? Yin Shi smiled, no need, I have these pills on my body, and I don't lack them. Besides, what you gave me last time was enough for refining these pills. Qi Xian smiled and thank you, brother Yin, I will accept all of my sisters. That thing is suitable for alchemists to use. Who told my sister that the alchemist I am most familiar with is you, brother Yin? It's useless to put it in my hands, brother, guess what? It's not bad, I got it from the abandoned mansion, including the alchemy spirit grass this time. Although the place is good, I didn't expect to be trapped for all these years, and it was not until my cultivation base suddenly that I was able to escape and come back. If I didn't go there, that long night Outsiders only know that she is trapped in a dangerous place, but they do not know that she accidentally broke into a legacy mansion by accident. However, it is easy to get in but difficult to get out. It takes a certain level of cultivation to break through the blockade of the legacy mansion. Fortunately, there is no shortage of resources in the legacy mansion. Otherwise you will really be trapped in it. Yin Shi persuaded, Long Yehi Jiren has his own celestial appearance, maybe like your sister, you will be blessed by misfortune and meet his own chance, and if you come back, maybe it will be a baby. If the sister wants to blame herself, then back then my uncle couldn't take good care of him either. It has nothing to do with senior brother Chi Bo waved his hand and said that the person who should blame himself the most should be the surnamed Zhong. The two hadn't seen each other for a long time, and they were interrupted by Zhongzhe last time, so after a good chat this time, Yin Shi suddenly thought, it is said that Chang Ye disappeared in the secret realm. According to the report of the disciples' return, I think the most likely thing is that Chang Ye fell into the space crack. The other end of the space crack might be another continent other than our Wanluo continent, which caused Chang Ye to not be able to come back for a while. We recently recruited Dangxia Peak. An alchemist from another continent, I only thought of this possibility. Qi Xian lowered her head and thought for a while, it's not impossible, I was waiting for my brother's medicinal pill before, I wanted to leave the sect for a while and go to various places to look for it, but now my brother has given me a new direction, maybe can you find Long yet? Qi Xian also thinks it is very possible. If this is the case, she is even more worried. Is the space crack so easy to pass through? Even though she was lucky to survive, she would also be injured. Thinking of her son being unable to practice and suffering because of his serious injury, Qi Xian's heart was about to twist, and she was ready to send Yin Shi away and set off. Yin Shi couldn't stop him, but he gave him a suggestion: "Junior sister, you'd better see the sect master before you leave, maybe the sect master will give some advice." When I was worried about Chang Ye's safety, it was the sect master who sent me a message, said that the long night will come back one day. I was thinking, does the suzerain know something? Qi Xian didn't know there was such a paragraph, and after hearing this, she couldn't sit still, and wanted to go to see the sect master immediately. Yin Shi asked curiously, "Why did junior brother Cao come to find junior sister? By the way, this ancient alchemist should be a newly recruited 6th grade alchemist, quite a young nascent soul cultivator." Qi Xian is also very curious. She doesn't have many opportunities to get in touch with Cao Songbei. Cao Songbei, her and Yin Shi are not the same generation of disciples, but according to their identities, they all came in person, so it is impossible for her to turn them away. Outside the door, so I said that senior brother Yin would meet with me. Okay, it just so happened that it was the first time I saw Master Gu, and I didn't expect to meet with my junior sister first. Chibo greeted him personally instead of asking his disciples to invite him in. When she came to the outside of the cave, her first sight fell on Gu Yao. For some reason, there was a feeling that this young monk would have a lot of fate with her. This kind of intuition made her take a closer look. Cao next to her. Songbei completely let her ignore it. This shouldn't have happened, but Cao Songbei didn't mind. Seeing Yin Shi coming out from behind, he nodded and said hello to him. He turned around and said, "Junior sister Qi, this time it's Master Gu Dan who wants to see junior sister, I'll show you the way." "Master Gu alchemist, you." Cao Songbei motioned to Gu Yao. Gu Yao was being scrutinized by Qi Xian, his whole body was tense, and he didn't know how to speak. Su Chen in the space was so happy, Gu Yao also had such a day. Although Gu Yao had heard people describe Qi Xian's appearance before, but it was far from what he saw with his own eyes. The most important thing was that he felt that the word "ant" was a little bit confusing, because Qi Xian looked really young. Born to be extremely beautiful, if you stand with Qi Changjai, you can see that they are mother and son, they are completely the same generation. Cao Songbei's voice brought him back to his senses. Seeing Qi Xian's smiling gaze, Gu Yao quickly took out a magic talisman from the space, with a little embarrassment. "Senior, please take a look." Qi Xian's eyes fell on the talisman, and the next moment she took the talisman into her hand, and after repeated identification, she raised her head and looked at Gu Yao's. There was some excitement in his eyes. "This, you. Can you take a step to speak?" Gu Yao knew that Mother Qi recognized it. Okay, let's go in and talk." "Senior brother, wait a moment." Qi Xian pulled Gu Yao into her cave like a gust of wind, and did not forget to activate the formation. Yin Shi and Cao Songbei were completely locked in outside. The two stared at each other, but Yin Shi spoke first. "Master Gu and junior sister Qi know each other?" "No, it doesn't look like they've met before." "Could it be that there is some trick in that talisman?" Cao Songbei shook his head, but said, "I think I'll know the answer when junior sister Qi comes out." In Yin Shi's mind, a faint thought came up: wouldn't it be so coincidental, it just so happened that junior sister wanted to go out to find her son, and this news came right to your door? Otherwise, he couldn't imagine any news that would make junior sister so excited. But in this case, it is consistent with his previous inference, and it can also explain why Chang Ye has not shown up for all these years, because the passage was destroyed and it was restored. As soon as Qi Xian activated the formation, she said eagerly, "My son Chang Ye gave you this amulet." "What about Chang Ye? Is he with you?" Gu Yao's cheeks are slightly red, a little shy. "Yes, brother Ye is with me." "What about others? Why didn't he come back with you?" Could it be that there was something else in the back of the story, and he was worried that returning to the sect would be blocked? Bar. Qi Xian's expression immediately cooled down and showed murderous aura. Don't be afraid, with me here, I'll see who those mice dare to do it. Su Chen laughed even more when he heard it, and Gu Yao understood now, he would be wrong, what he and Mother Chi said were together. Doesn't mean the same thing, even the neck is red now, embarrassed. He quickly explained stupidly, Auntie, that's not what you mean, I was with Brother Ye on the mainland before. But when we came from the passage, we encountered a storm in the upper space at the last moment, and everyone was separated, but Brother Ye. We must be somewhere in Wanluo continent now. We made an agreement that we will come to Lingyunzong to meet when we are separated. Only then did Qi Xian restrain her killing intent. She originally regarded Gu Yao as a fellow nascent soul deist of the same generation. Now she knows that he and her. The sun was with him, and when he looked at him again, his eyes took on a bit of the kindness of the elders. I'm wrong, sit down and talk to me well. In your case, yes, I asked the two senior brothers outside to leave first. As Qi Xian said, she opened the formation and walked out of the cave, took a deep breath, and calmed herself down, so now Cao Songbei and Yin. When I saw Qi Xian, it was relatively normal. Second brothers, I will leave Alchemist Gu to sit for a while, and I will personally send him to Dangxia Peak later. At the same time, he sent a voice transmission to Yin Shi, Brother Yin, Alchemist Gu came back with my son, but got separated when he left the passage. Yin Shi nodded slightly. At this time, it was obvious that Qi Xian had a little excitement in his eyes. It was the same as his previous guess. After all, Qi Bo started with talisman, and the Qi family has their own uniqueness in talisman. Others can't see it, but the Qi family will recognize it themselves. Okay, then we won't disturb junior sister and Gu alchemist talking, let's go first. Yin Shi motioned to Cao Songbei. Okay, then there is junior sister Lokai. Cao Songbei also said goodbye with a smile. After the two left, Qi Xian returned to the cave and started the formation again. After a while, Gu Yao's mood calmed down a lot, and his expression was much calmer, unlike before. Qi Bo personally brewed spirit tea for Gu Yao and fetched spirit fruit refreshments. After she was busy, she gave Gu Yao a few more glances and found Gu Yao's situation at this time. Her heart moved, and she recalled Gu Yao's blushing face before. And the nervousness when I first saw her, could it be that? The answer is about to come out. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 312. With the direction of doubt in her heart, Qi Xian looked at Gu Yao calmly and deliberately led him to speak. The ordinary Yuanying cultivator would not be nervous and uncomfortable when he saw him, and Gu Yao respected her as a grown-up. Qi Xian originally thought that her son's temperament would go on alone in this life, even if he was in the sect, because of her talent and outstanding appearance are very much admired by other disciples. She, as a mother, does not want to interfere. After all, the twisted melon is not sweet. If it is not satisfactory, it may bring a shadow to Qi Changjai. Later, she and Zhongzheyu developed from a loving Taoist couple into a pair of grudges. Even Zhongzheyu took a concubine regardless of her wishes, and she would not force her son to find the other half, nor would she feel that she was walking alone in cultivation. Lonely on the road. However, there are Taoist couples who have similar personalities. Qi Xian is also willing to prejudice. She is from the past. Isn't Gu Yao nervous about whether he can accept him or not, and doesn't care about her son's words, so why should he be in the same Yuan dynasty? Infant monk lowered her posture in front of her. The more Qi Xian looked at it, the more she liked it, and felt that her son's eyes were better than her own. Xiaoao, you said that Chang Ye is already in the middle stage of nascent soul. At Gu Yao's request, Qi Xian called his name so affectionately that Su Chen in the space could not be seen at all. Gu Yao was clearly in front of him. A very shrewd person, but when he arrived in front of Qi Xian, he was about to explain the old story in a few words, and the whole person looked full of stupidity. Yeah, brother Ye has superb swordsmanship. Although he is in the middle stage of nascent soul, his real combat power is not inferior to that in the later stage of nascent soul. Brother Ye's luck is very good. When he was in Tianlin continent, he met the sword pavilion. Going upstairs, Gu Yao's eyes lit up when he talked about Qi Changjai. Qi Xian sees that she is secretly happy for her son, but she doesn't like it very much. When she mentions this person, her whole person glows from beginning to end. For her stubborn son, don't let Xiaoao down. Xiaoao, don't compliment him so much, ask your aunt to tell him that he hasn't mastered his skills yet, otherwise he would have lost you in a blink of an eye, and he hasn't been found yet. Qi Xian grabbed Gu Yao's hand, pat him and said. At the same time, I was thinking in my heart that it seemed that my previous idea was not possible. Although Chang Ye is now the same as her, in terms of combat effectiveness, I guess he is not as good as his son. I think I have to go to the suzerain. And I didn't expect Qi Changjai to fall into a lower space. Although Gu Yao said it simply, Qi Bo could also hear that from Tianlin continent to Qinhao continent, and then to Wanluo continent. I don't know how many hardships I have experienced during this period, and it is precisely because of the many challenges that I have faced, that my cultivation base can grow so quickly. I have suffered these two children, and the eyes that look at Gu Yao are more and more kind. Gu Yao connected, it's not to blame brother Ye, no one expected that kind of situation at that time, but luckily it happened when I was about to leave the passage. I just came here and I'm not familiar with the situation here, so I asked my aunt to help me. Let's find out the whereabouts of brother Ye and the people who came with you. Gu Yao talked about the situation of brother Tian and Fatty, and also talked about Uncle Pian being offered a reward, including the fact that he ran into Zhong Changha because he was angry, and he took action to design him. After Zhong Chang'an was thrown into the Chunfeng Tower, an embarrassed expression appeared on his face. Qi Xian was stunned for a moment. She didn't expect Gu Yao's hand behind Zhong Changhan's recruitment, because Gu Yao looked so good, how could it be related to that image, but instead of being angry, he was very happy. What she didn't expect was that Wang Yuzhu's poisoning was also related to Gu Yao. The person who shot it was Gu Yao's uncle. She also watched the reward. Fancy, but it deserves to be clean up well. The person surnamed Wang could not be a coward with the person surnamed Zhong. Okay. This is a good job. That kid himself has a bad mind. Chang Ye wants to know that you avenged him. It's too late to be happy. And has long suspected that his disappearance was not that simple, but she has never been able to get evidence, he. No matter how well they think, in the end they have to speak with their strength. It's not easy for Chang Ye to do the same with her surnamed Zhong, but when Chang Ye's cultivation level surpasses his Lao Tzu, Qi Xian can imagine how Zhong Zheyu will feel. In the past, she didn't know who she was, but later she felt more and more that Zhong Zheyu had a bright face, but in fact he was very narrow-minded. When his son was able to attack Chang Ye, there must be his acquiescence behind it. It was nothing more than Chang Ye's talent and talent. The speed of promotion made him feel threatened. Instead of waiting for one day to be ridiculed that his son surpassed Lao Tzu, it would be better to abolish his son one step ahead. It's a pity, things didn't go as he wished, and after suffering once, Chang Ye was even better than before. As for Gu Yao, who can come out of a small place with Chang Ye, and his promotion speed is not slower than that of his son, it can be seen that his talent is also very outstanding. By the way, he is still a 6th grade alchemist. In any respect, he is not inferior to Chang Ye. Qi Bo is more and more satisfied, but the premise is that the long night can come back safely. According to what you said, Xiaoao, it has been more than 2 months since you came here, and the long night has not appeared. Either you are far enough away, or you may be stuck somewhere. You are here to wait for Auntie will go. Ask the sect master to ask about the situation, and he will be back soon. Qi Xian's temperament is also hot and fast. While patting Gu Yao's hand to make him stay here, he opened the formation and flew out. At the same time, the disciples on the sound transmission mountain must not neglect Gu Yao's alchemist. Before Gu Yao could react, the ant had disappeared. Fortunately, knowing where she went, Gu Yao breathed a sigh of relief, carefully recalling his previous performance, thinking, it shouldn't be too bad. He left a ant for his ant. Impressive, right? He thought so, and then asked Su Chen the same way. Su Chen held his stomach and smiled silently. Does this guy think his performance is not too bad? If I really want to change someone, this guy is sold and has to replace the number of spirit stones. It's so stupid that I can't see it. Of course he won't expose it, otherwise there will be no fun to watch. After listening to Su Chen's affirmative opinion, Gu Yao felt very happy in his heart. In this way, his aunt should not object to him forming a Taoist partner with Brother Ye, but he did not know that his relationship with Qi Changjai would be seen through by Qi Xian. And in my heart, the process of Qi Xian's request to see the suzerain went very smoothly, and he was soon brought before the suzerain. Facing the suzerain, Qi Xian was extremely respectful. I didn't think so at first, but after listening to Senior Brother Yin's words, I felt that the suzerain who looked like an ordinary person was a little unfathomable. Yes, now that she is in the middle stage of nascent soul, she can't see the depth of the sect master, and she doesn't dare to guess the strength of the sect master. When sect master Yuan saw Qi Xian coming, he showed a gentle smile and said in a very kind tone, I think you should come here for the child of Changjai. Qi Xian became more and more respectful. Sect master, the disciple is here for the long night. The child has returned to Wanluo continent, but I don't know where he is now and whether there is any difficulty. Sect master Yuan smiled and said, it's good to come back. That child has always been my favorite seedling. I must have become more mature and stable after going out this trip, and the road will be smoother in the future. The news should come out soon. Although it is a bit difficult, it is also an opportunity for Chang Ye. When the sect master said this, Qi Xian's heart was instantly settled, and he was able to guide Chang Ye's practice when he was a child, but the path he has taken now is different from hers, and he must rely on him to make his own way. Thank you so much for the sect master, so the disciple can feel at ease. That disciple is waiting in the sect for the long night to return. The disciple retire. Qi Xian backed out and looked at the scenery outside, and suddenly felt that it was much brighter, and she was busy flying into the air. She had to go back and tell the good news to Xiao's child, so that he would not worry with him. Gu Yao was also very happy to hear the news, and at the same time became curious about the suzerain. Qi Xian also told Gu Yao what the suzerain told Yin Shi-I that Qi Changjai would come back, so that Gu Yao had some information about the suzerain. Feeling like God, everything is under control. At the beginning, I dreamed for 1,000 years, but after waking up, many scenes were blurred, and there were not many things that I could remember. The longer the time passed, the more those memories faded. What happened to the sect master? Gu Yao had no reason to stay here with Qi Xian anymore, and he was still a little uncomfortable getting along with his elders, so he left and went back to Dangxia Peak. Qi Xian sent a disciple to take him back, worried that he would not know the way. On the way, Gu Yao told Su Chen the doubts in his heart, but Su Chen didn't care much, and said, not to mention that the cultivation world is huge, there are countless strange people, and some special magical powers are not so strange. The deeper the understanding of the Tao will be, and there will be a sense of induction, and there are some special exercises that allow the monk to calculate the pre-birth and the future, but that requires a certain price. Gu Yao deeply felt that his understanding of the world of self-cultivation was too shallow, but he still had a good impression of this mysterious Yuan sect master. One was the admiration from Qi Changjai, and the second was his mother Kai's opinion. Sovereign respect. Before they came, they discussed about the passage, and Chi Changai's suggestion was to leave these matters to the sect master directly, because the situation in Wanluo continent was much more complicated than that in Qinhao continent. Guyao had no objection in the first place, but now that he came to this realm, just looking at the complex forces in the Lingyuan sect, he felt that Qi Changjai's suggestion was more correct. Today, he and Qi Changjai, in this Wanluo continent, are like two small boats in the vast ocean, and they are in danger of capsizing at any time. Guyao patted his and left, leaving Qi Xian a bunch of greeting gifts that he had prepared in advance for his elders. Qi Xian knew that he was an alchemist and was happy to honor him, but she was not ready for anything, and she had to prepare a generous gift for Guyao in 2 days. After opening the jade bottle presented by Guyao, Qi Xian was dumbfounded. What kind of blessing did her son have to find such an alchemist as a Taoist companion? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 313. Qi Xian hurriedly put away the jade bottle on the table. The medicinal pills in it were just right for her to take at this stage. There were also the necessary common medicinal herbs. They were all high-grade pills, which made her eyes dizzy. After putting away the pills, her heart was still beating fast. She didn't hear about Guyao's alchemy skills from senior brother Yin, that is to say, the child concealed his true alchemy skills, which made Qi Xian even more satisfied, and at the same time was delighted that he regarded himself as a real alchemist. The elders looked at her and treated her with sincerity, which is why she sent the medicinal pill to her without reservation. Qi Xian walked around in her own cave, asking a junior to give her such a generous gift. She couldn't give her a gift as an elder, and at this level of medicine, her stupid son who only had a sword in his mind, no, it would be entirely up to Xiao to support her. This, she doesn't know what to say to make her a mother, and it's a bit embarrassing for her son. Qi Yaoi's face, well, all she can do is one-handed talisman. She picked up her storage ring and found that she didn't have much in reserve, so she hurriedly went out and asked the disciple to prepare the materials for her. As an alchemist, Xiao's fighting ability is definitely not comparable to her son's. Now that his son is not by his side, although Lingyuan sect looks safe, but the calculations behind his back are inadvertent, so she still takes Guyao from head to toe. Well armed. In the next few days, Qi Xian was full of energy and kept making magic talismans. When he was tired, he adjusted his breath. After adjusting his breath, he continued to make it. It is best to prepare a magic talisman for a storage ring to rest assured. Who would dare to bully Guyao in the future? Bombing with a spirit talisman would have to kill people. On the other hand, Yin Shi-I had never seen junior sister Qi come to him, so he was not at ease. He wondered how senior nephew Changjai is now, and what is the relationship between Master Guyao and senior nephew Changjai. As soon as I came over, I saw the materials for making talismans scattered all over the floor, as well as a thick stack of magic talismans next to them. Junior sister Qi, what are you doing? Ah, senior brother Yin, you are here, sit in there, don't worry about the materials on the ground. By the way, senior brother Yin, I haven't had time to tell you, that child in Changye, as senior brother expected, went to other continents before. I just came back recently, but I may have been delayed somewhere, and I still can't go back to the section. I asked the sect master, and the sect master said that there may be some opportunities this time. Qi Xian patted her forehead, devoted herself to making magic charms, and gave this matter to leaving it behind. He quickly explained. Yin Shi-I doesn't think it's too late to know, it's good to have news, since the suzerain said it, it must be true, but what is the relationship between the ancient alchemist and the long night? Could it be that they came from a place? Qi Xian suddenly raised her head and smiled mysteriously. The child didn't say anything, but I knew that he was the Dao companion of Chang Ye. The two encountered a storm in the passage and were temporarily separated, so they came to Lingyun sect first and waited. Yin Shi was taken aback, he didn't expect it to be this kind of relationship. Thanks to him, he guarded Guyao before, worried that he had ulterior motives in entering the Lingyun section. Now it seems that he has motives, but even if he does not enter the Lingyun sect now, he has long since become a member of Lingyunzong. Haha, I didn't expect the defense to come and go, but it's already a family. Look at me. Yin Shi got up, and bowed to Chi Bo again. The senior brother congratulated the junior sister, and congratulations to Chang Ye for finding a good Taoist companion, is still a 6th grade alchemist, this kid is not bad. Chi Bo was very happy to hear this, and asked brother Yin to find someone. She left the sect for many years, and she had few contacts in the past, and new contacts are still being cultivated. Of course, it's not all to be entrusted to senior brother Yin, and all the people who can use it in her own hands will also use it. Not to mention that Guyao asked her to help him find it, he just said that those cultivators were friends of his son and Guyao, who had been through adversity and fought together. As a mother, she couldn't help but ask, and senior brother Yin naturally agreed. However, I found that among the people I was looking for, 2 of them were the people on the sect's reward order, and I couldn't help but feel happy. The matter of Wang's father and son had already annoyed him last time, so at this time, he was very happy to help find the 2 people in the image. Qi Xian also said that one of them was Guyao's uncle, which was equivalent to her in-laws. She has to do her part in the friendship of the landlord. This kind of search must not be made with great fanfare. They all know the temperament of the Wang family and their sons very well. If the reward order was withdrawn, it does not mean that they can really let the 2 monks go. To find someone in front of the father and son of the Wang family. Fortunately, Guyao said that the 2 of them, especially the magic cultivator among them, were able to deal with it in a short while, even if the father and son of the Wang family met first. Senior brother Yin, Xiaoao is now my other son. You are the uncle, you have to take care of that child for me. Do you know, Qi Xian worried that Guyao was bullied at Dangxia Peak. Do not know. Yin Shi smiled, Dangxia Peak doesn't have so many messes. Besides, although the ancient alchemist is a newcomer, he is also a 6th grade alchemist, so he will be easily bullied. Don't worry, there is me. Now, I must not let him suffer, and I will also warn junior brother Cao. After Yin Shi returned to Danja Peak, he told Cao Songbei that Guyao was his own and asked him to take more care of him. As for the relationship between Guyao and Qi Changjai, he should wait until the child of Changjai returns before making it public. Lest the news leak out and make people stare at Guyao. Cao Songbei felt that this attitude had changed too quickly. He reminded him to be on guard before, but now he has become his own. Not only that, but within 2 days, Qi Xian came to Dangxia Peak to find Guyao again. She shoved all the magic talismans she had recently made to Guyao, and took out the remaining spirit grass on her body. She kept it and looked for Dan later. If the teacher has made a medicinal pill, it is better to give it to yourself than to others. Dagger. Auntie, is it too much? I don't need so many in the sect right now. Guyao glanced into the storage bag and was startled. There are hundreds of charms, you must know that most of these charms are rank 6 spirit talisman, if you put it outside, it will also cause scramble asterisk. Qi Xian still thinks it's too little, and is going to go back to continue the production. Now these are sent over for Guyao's self-defense first, and then take out a piece of jade slip. And stuffed it into Guyao's hands, saying, here are some tips and tricks for using these magic talismans. When the child in Changye followed me for enlightenment when he was a child, he learned some Kai's talisman skills, and then he focused on it. After practicing swordsmanship, I also know a little about Kai's talisman. When Cao Songbei came over, he happened to see the scene of you pushing me to let me go. Now I don't understand what's going on. The enthusiasm of junior sister Chi towards Gu Alchemist is too evil. Gu Yao really couldn't resist Mother Kai's intentions, and finally had to accept it, and she was really happy in her heart. Mother Chi was a very amiable elder. Senior brother Cao, please come in. Gu Yao put away the talisman and hurriedly invited Cao Songbei in. After Cao Songbei came in, seeing that Chi Bo had no intention of leaving at all, he sat on the side drinking spirit tea, acting like a master. Fortunately, he didn't have anything to say to others, so he greeted Qi Xian and told Gu Yao, I'm here to tell Gu Alchemist a piece of good news. The King Glogo Den refined by Gu Alchemist has played a big role. Chi Bo understood what was going on as soon as she heard it. Originally, she was not interested in exploring the secret realm this time, because as far as she knew, the monks under the secret realm nascent soul could only enter this time, and they were not the same as the nascent soul monks. Relationship, but because of Gu Yao's relationship, I paid special attention to it. So he asked, have the first batch of Jindan disciples entered? Cao Songbei said with relief, exactly. It is with the help of King Glutton that the Jindan disciples who entered can successfully pass through the outer miasma belt. Other detoxification pills are not very effective. Qi Xian frowned slightly. If other antidote pills are useless, isn't the price of entering this secret realm too high? If it is only applicable to the trial of Jindan and the disciples below Jindan, equip them with 6th grade pills. It is only the big sect that can withstand such consumption, but it can bear it for a short time, but not for a long time. Cao Songbei nodded and said, Junior sister Qi is very worried, so now I will send my disciples to explore the specific situation in the secret realm to see if it is worth developing it. If the cost is too high, it is not necessary for the sect to have this secret realm. For a sect like Lingyuan sect, there is still no shortage of places to test Jindan and its disciples. Now to explore this new secret realm, it is still necessary to see what resources are available inside. Gu Yao heard this conversation and felt that Ling Yunzong was really rich and powerful. There are more than one secret realms for Jindan disciples to test, and the 6th grade medicinal pills can also be used in Jindan disciples. Cao Songbei smiled again and said to Gu Yao, thanks to the batch of medicinal herbs you refined this time, junior brother Gu, the effect of the middle grade is obviously better than that of the lower grade. It has attracted the attention of many nascent soul colleagues. There will definitely be many colleagues who will come to Gu junior brother to ask for pills in the future. There are too few disciples on your side. I will send you a few more disciples to fight. Qi Xian first agreed on behalf of Gu Yao, yes, this is what it should be. I can't let Xiaoao do all these trivial matters, but senior brother Cao, you have to take care of Xiaoao, and you can't let Xiaoao take care of those who are prone to alienation. The disciple will bring it here. Cao Songbei looked at Gu Yao, and Gu Yao hurriedly said, I listen to my aunt. Cao Songbei said in his heart, could it be that junior brother Gu is a descendant of the Qi family's homeless family, Qi Xian's junior? After Cao Songbei returned, he arranged for 2 more disciples to come over. The 2 of them were in charge of chores before, but this time the ones sent were for Gu Yao. From Gu Yao's point of view, they were the ones that brother Tian helped him to do. And he really didn't want to waste time greeting those monks who came to ask for pills, although it was unknown if anyone came to ask for pills. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 314. Although Gu Yao has a certain sense of presence in Lingyunzong Yuanying cultivator because of King Glutton, it is still early to enjoy the same treatment as other 6th grade alchemists. Compared to Gu Yao, the newcomer only has the same achievements as King Glutton. Yes, they still trust Yin Shi and these 6th grade alchemists more. Therefore, although the disciples were arranged, they didn't have much to do. The 2 of them were honest. Gu Yao occasionally gave pointers on their alchemy skills when they saw this, which surprised the two disciples who had just entered the golden alchemy. Is taught and not taught, the situation is very different. Gu Yao doesn't have much knowledge of the door, these two Jindan disciples are willing to learn, he is willing to teach in his spare time, just like between him and Senior Su Chen, Su Chen's teaching has also made him take a lot of detours. Senior Sister Li, I didn't expect Alchemist Gu to have such a good temper. I was worried when I first came here. Senior Sister Li looked at her fellow junior and senior brother, her eyes glowing, and said, "What's more, there are still many people who think that we have been assigned here, and they want to wait to see our jokes. Actually, I want to say, see, I think the stance of the ancient alchemist is stronger than the 6th grade alchemist who has guided us before. They are in Dangxia Peak. As the 1st grade 7 alchemists, they usually have 7th grade alchemists with a higher level than them to give them concentrated guidance, but sometimes there are also 6th grade alchemists who come to give lectures. It is rare a meeting was full, and Senior Sister Li certainly wouldn't miss such an occasion, but compared to before, she felt that a few words from Alchemist Gu gave her a sense of relief. When she first came here, she felt a little resentful in her heart. She thought that she and junior brother Song had performed better among the same batch of disciples, but they had no background. When she was named and sent over, she really thought that she did not know how to manage and offended the talents. Sent over. But after a few times, I felt that I had fallen into the nest of blessings. Donchi Cao clearly gave them an excellent opportunity. Usually, Donchi Cao saw their performance. Junior brother Song also nodded again and again. Gu alchemist looks younger than me, but I didn't expect the cultivation base to have strong alchemy skills. It's really amazing, and Shishichi really took care of Gu alchemist and took him out. Senior Sister Li smiled. Now the entire Dangxia Peak knows that Uncle Chi takes care of Master Gu, and even we have followed suit. Not to mention, Shishichi gave her and junior brother Song a few talismans, which were very useful. If it wasn't for Gu Yao, how could these Jindan disciples have the chance to get the talismans made by the 6th grade talisman master? The Lingyuan sect is very big, and Qi Xian was worried that Gu Yao would get lost if he came out alone, so he took time to show him the environment in the Lingyuan sect, as well as the nascent soul disciples of the same generation, which ones can be visited, and which ones are not good-tempered. Yes, there are also the places where nascent soul disciples can try and how to use them. On the way, he could not help but tell a lot of interesting things about Qi Changjai when he was a child. Gu Yao listened with more and more interest. How could Qi Changjai say those shameful things in the past? For example, I once saw a male cultivator, Qi Changjai, a big beanie, hugged him and called him sister, but he called him a dark face. When he grew up, Qi Changjai forgot about it himself, but he didn't expect him to practice swordsmanship. At that time, it fell into the hands of the male cultivator. That person was a famous sword cultivator. During that time, Qi Changjai had been trained hard. Gu Yao imagined the scene at that time, and couldn't help laughing. Look, this is Yunji Fang City. Qi Xian took Gu Yao into the air, where one after another white clouds intertwined. The entire Yunji Fang City is actually a top-quality spiritual tool, and it's not too big. The function of it is to provide a place that can only be accessed by virtue of the identity of nascent soul disciples, so this place has become a place for nascent soul disciples to communicate and gather. In the future, Xiaoao, if you want to exchange medicinal herbs for other resources, you can also come here and set up a booth. The two passed through the white clouds and entered the interior of Yunji Fang City. There are still small platforms composed of white clouds. There are many practitioners shuttled among the white clouds, stopping from time to land on which white cloud platform. The Yuanying monk there was talking. After Qi Xian's introduction, Gu Yao found out that the white cloud hanging above his head has no owner. As long as the monk hand in a spirit stone, he can rent a white cloud platform. Either stay in mid-air, or let it float freely. If you like, You can also decorate the Bayun platform. Guyao can see one of the platforms surrounded by green vines. Where can you see the appearance of Bayun? Chibo saw Guyao's curious eyes, and said that he was still a child, and took him to look at the platforms. All the items traded on the platforms were really extraordinary, and some people on the platforms disappeared, but look, if you hit an item and want to trade, the platform has its own setting to call the owner. Guyao used to be the most powerful 6th grade alchemist in Qinhao continent, and he saw a lot of good things, but when he came here, when he saw the items placed on the platform, his heart was still pounding, and he felt that he had become one again. A poor man. Qi Xian saw this and said, "Tell your aunt what you like, and your aunt will help you trade." Guyao hurriedly waved his hand and said, "No need, auntie, don't be polite to me, I'll just open my eyes." Qi Xian said in her heart that this child is too sensible, but she still pays attention to see what Guyao likes in particular, and then she can find a way to trade it. She didn't know Guyao's net worth. After all, the place she used to stay in was much worse than Wanluo continent. No matter how bad the alchemist was, it couldn't compare to this place. And she still has family support behind her. Compared with other nascent soul disciples, well done. That is, the time to enter the nascent soul stage is still short, compared to the accumulation of hundreds or even thousands of years of nascent soul disciples who have practiced for many years. The two came to a platform where a lot of spiritual grasses were placed. The owner of the platform was a middle-aged cultivator who was not too slender. He was sitting crookedly and snoring. Those spiritual grasses were also scattered on the ground. Guyao glanced at it and found that there were a lot of ordinary spirit grass mixed in it. If it weren't for a few spirit grasses that could be used to refine the 6th grade pill, he would have thought that this middle-aged cultivator was a liar, but it was too much. Don't be too particular about it. Mixed together like this, it's easy to lose the spiritual energy of those spirit grasses, resulting in lower efficacy. Qi Xian also found out, and went forward and pulled a handful of the middle-aged monk's hair. The monk cried out, his eyes finally opened, rubbed his eyes. It turned out to be Qi Xian. "You girl, you tell me, why are you making trouble for me again, girl? It's still like you are a teenager, this is not what you want, hurry up, hurry up." That action is like chasing flies, not to mention how disgusting it is. Qi Xian was so angry that he pulled his hair again. "What girl? Can you see it clearly? I'm all a disciple of nascent soul, you are no longer my senior, or you think I can see you here?" The middle-aged cultivator looked at it for a while, and then slapped his head abruptly. "Yes. You haven't been missing for a long time, I thought you were dead outside, but I didn't expect you to be alive." Guyao almost spit. Did he say that, if it wasn't for the casual relationship between the ant and the middle-aged cultivator, he would have thought that the middle-aged cultivator was cursing his ant. "I'm still alive after you're dead," Qi Xian was very angry. "Haha." The middle-aged cultivator seemed to be finally awake. "It's good to live, it's good to live, you said that you are not an alchemist, so why are you here with me?" Qi Xian suddenly became complacent. She was not an alchemist, but her son's Taoist companion was a very powerful alchemist, but she couldn't show it off now, but her expression was still proud. "Come, old master, let me introduce you to a junior. I'm not an alchemist, but my junior, Xiao Yao, is a 6th grade alchemist, much more powerful than a layman like you. Come, Xiao, what kind of spirit grass do you like? Even if you choose, it will be a greeting gift from the teacher." "Hey, what are you doing? Who asked you to present the gift in my name?" the middle-aged monk shouted. Although the middle-aged cultivator shouted, he didn't mean to stop it very seriously, so Guyao chose it obediently. This selection is very difficult. There are so many plants that have lost a lot of medicinal properties. If they are used for alchemy, the effect will be great. Discounted, affecting the quality of the medicine pill. However, Guyao still picked them out, and they should be able to recover after planting them in the space for a period of time. There were also several unfamiliar spirit grasses that were picked up, so they picked them up like this. Looking disgusted. Seeing that Guyao was ready, he beckoned him to come over, and introduced him. Xiao Yao, this is the old master, who used to fool the unknowing brother. I have been deceived, and Chang Ye has been deceived. You can't be deceived by him again, just call him, Master Shi. Okay, Master Shi, Guyao called out respectfully. Is this the junior of your Qi family? Shifan looked through the storage ring, and he was called an old man, so he can't help but give him a gift as an elder, and the selected spirit grasses are nothing. He looked for a long time to let him. After finding a good thing, he quickly took it out and said to Guyao, okay, this is the greeting gift from the old master to you. Feel free to take whatever you like on the ground, the old master is not so stingy. Guyao opened the box and saw that there was a cold jade bottle inside. There were dozens of drops of milky white liquid in the cold jade bottle. In the middle of nascent soul, this meeting ceremony was too heavy. Guyao couldn't help but look at Qi Xian, not knowing whether to accept it or not. Qi Xian also found out what a good thing it was, and hurriedly said, I hurry up and take it before the old teacher regrets it. Anyway, it's useless for him to keep it. Shi Fan was so angry that he blew his beard and stared. Nonsense, who said I'm useless to keep it? It's also good for me to buy wine and drink with the spirit stone. Guyao listened to his aunt and put it away, and thanked Shi Fan respectfully. At this moment, a voice came from behind. Xian, no, junior sister Qi, you are here too. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 315. As soon as he heard this voice, Qi Xian's smiling face immediately cooled down, and at the same time, he sent a voice transmission to Guyao, it's Chang Ye's biological father, but don't pay too much attention to him. After passing the sound, Qi Xian turned around with a look of impatience on her brows, this Yunjianfang market is yours, I can't come here? Don't you know that I want to punch you when I see your face? If it weren't for the fact that the Yunjianfang city here did not allow the use of force, and if Guyao was not by his side, Qi Xian thought of a magic talisman and blasted it when he heard the sound. Guyao also turned around and looked directly at the person who came. Being able to be seen by Kai's mother and giving birth to a son with such a good appearance as Qi Changjai was enough to show that Zhongzheyu himself was not bad, just like this, standing in the air out of thin air. In the middle, a long robe with wide sleeves and a fluttering robe is very immortal. At this moment, there was a look of helplessness on his face, as if he was accommodating Qi Xian's willfulness, but Guyao found that he was looking at him with scrutiny and even hostile eyes, and he couldn't help raising his eyebrows. Is this person still coming for him? Wouldn't he find out that it was he who moved Zhong Changhan's hand? Impossible, but when did you offend him? Baffling. Xian, junior sister Qi, can't we talk about it calmly? It was an accident when the Changya accident happened. In any case, you are my wife. Fuck you. Qi Xian didn't want to lose her temper in front of Guyao and maintain her good image, but she couldn't hold back when she heard this, whoever loves your wife will do it, I will follow you. The Taoist relationship has been lifted, Tiandao witnesses, unless you ask Tiandao to take the sentence back. A gloom flashed in Zhongzheyu's eyes, and he said solemnly, you cancel your relationship with my Taoist partner, just want to find such a man? Guyao was stunned when he heard it. His feet almost slipped and he fell off the cloud platform. He wanted to rub his ears. Did he hear it wrong? What did this surname Shen say? Said he was Mother Kai's. Guyao looked at Zhongzheyu in astonishment. You. Qi Xian was also extremely shocked, pointing at Guyao and then at herself, not knowing whether to laugh or cry, and at the same time extremely frightened. This bastard, not to mention that Guyao is her son's Taoist companion, and even if she finds someone else man, Do you have a relationship with this surnamed Zhong? How blind was she in the first place to find such a man? As long as he was able to take a concubine, he had terminated the relationship with him as a Taoist partner, and was not allowed to find another man. Feeling that he will look at her vassal surnamed Zhong? There's nothing to say to this kind of man, it's better to have a good fight. Qi Xian turned to Shi Fan, who was watching the fun, and said, Master Shi, take care of Xiaoao. Xiaoao, Auntie go out to the market for some activities, you stay here obediently, Auntie will be back soon. After he finished speaking, he couldn't wait to fly out a water sleeve from his hand, slammed around Zhong Zheyu, and said angrily, let's go out and fight, there is no one to talk to with a like you. And Zhong Zheyu's eyes changed suddenly, so he misunderstood? Could it be the Qi family or other juniors who are close to others? In the past few days, all those gossips have reached his ears, saying that Qi Xian has taken a fancy to a little white face. During this time, he has led the little white face around the Lingyun sect all day, and some people said that they saw Qi Xian sent a lot of the resources are given to Xiaobalian. This is clearly a new love. Zhong Zheyu's old love was long ago left behind by Qi Xian. Zhong Zheyu listened a lot, so he wanted to ask Qi Xian for a clearer question. He couldn't wait to put a green hat on him. Who in Lingyunzong did not know that Qi Xian was his woman? However, Suanji Peak, where Qi Xian is located, strictly prohibits Shen Zheyu from taking half a step, so he can't get close to Qi Xian. This time I heard that Qi Bo came out with a new lover, so he rushed over without thinking, and sure enough he saw when Qi Xian smiled so happily at Xian Huan, the anger in his heart kept rising. In his eyes, this was a pair of dogs and men. But is everyone misunderstood? Is this male cultivator Qi Bo's junior? After such a stunned time, Zhong Zheyu was pulled out of Yunjianfang market by Qi Xian. The movement just now alarmed many nascent soul cultivators. Just listening to the conversation between the two, I could hear what it meant. It was interrupted, and the business was not done, and they went out of the market to watch the fun. What's more, the rare owner of Yunjian Fangxi also appeared. With a wave of his hand, a huge water mirror appeared in the air of Fangxi, absorbing all the outside scenes into the water mirror. Guyao, who was misunderstood about his relationship, stood awkwardly in the same place, accepting everyone's treatment, or Shi Fan relieved him, and said to everyone, what are you looking at? I really don't know that surnamed Zhong. What a brain, a Taoist couple who doesn't know how to cultivate and must die like a mortal couple. It's like coming here to catch an adulterer. He didn't know the real relationship between this child and Qi Xian's girl, so he started making trouble and was ashamed. Yes, what senior brother said is reasonable. This must be the 6th grade alchemist, ancient alchemist who has joined Dangxia Peak for a long time. Zheng Zhou didn't have the chance to know the ancient alchemist. I didn't expect to meet him here, the ancient alchemist. In the future, I have to go to Dangxia Peak to disturb the ancient alchemist. Nascent soul cultivator greeted Guyao one by one. No matter whether you have heard his name or not, it's better to meet him face to face first. I have heard of his name before, but I didn't expect him to be so young. It can be seen that his talent is not low. Maybe he can catch up with those old souls of Dangxia Peak in the future. If the level of alchemy is improved, his status will be different. Guyao also politely returned his salute, but now he is more worried about the situation outside, so he glanced at the picture in the water mirror from time to time. A Yuanying female cultivator enthusiastically introduced to Guyao, don't worry about junior sister Kai's situation, it is not the first time she has fought with Zhong Zheyu. However, it won't be a big loss. And if junior sister Qi doesn't have the upper hand, don't worry, we sisters won't watch it, and we'll go there together and see if there is anyone here to help Zhong Zheyu. The female monk said and looked to the side. The male monks either smiled calmly or shook their heads. No one protested. The female monk turned around and said, look, These men also need to save face, this matter is clear. It's just that the surnamed Zhong is doing something wrong. Can these men help Zhou to be false? In such a short period of time, the fighting was already fierce outside. Qi Xian threw her hand and smashed several spirit talismans out, so the sky was filled with flames, mixed with lightning and thunder, but Zhong Zheyu seemed very passive and unwilling. The posture of fighting with Qi Xian made the female cultivator next to Gu Yao sneer, obviously having a very bad impression of Zhong Zheyu. Junior sister Qi, listen to me, I misunderstood. Boom, Qi Xian wouldn't stop to listen to what he explained, she would only get more annoyed when she heard it, she just wanted the man to realize that they had nothing to say other than fight when they met. Sister, you. Qi Yu took out another pagoda. The pagoda was painted with dense runes. With a wave of his hand, he controlled the pagoda and smashed it towards Zhong Zheyu. Boom boom boom. When Zhong Zheyu saw the pagoda, he knew that Qi Xian was really with him. He had to throw out a ding bell and hit it. Suddenly there was a constant roar, and the aura overflowed. The cultivator sent all the monks out, and then put away this top-quality spiritual tool. The defensive function of this spiritual tool itself does not play much role in the current battle. Therefore, in a blink of an eye, Gu Yao came outside, Shi Fan and another female cultivator of Yuanying were also beside him. This is a real fire, blasting the center. Shen Zheyu's expression is extremely ugly, Fuda returned to the sky above Qi Xian's head, swirls and turns, and should attack again at any time under Qi Xian's control. Zhong Zheyu also took back the bell, you are unreasonable, you can do it yourself. After finishing speaking, he put away the clock, stretched out his sleeves according to Yu Fu and left. This fight also made him realize how much chance Qi Xian had encountered when he disappeared unexpectedly last time, and when he came back, he could really fight him. Because of the water. He knew that if he continued to fight, he would not be able to gain the upper hand, and although he would not be defeated by Qi Bo, it would be a humiliation for him not to have the upper hand. He is still in the golden core stage, and if he fails to enter that threshold, how can he have a second heart? Humph, don't provoke me in the future, it's still the same sentence, or you can hit me once. Qi Xian's voice was also sent out, and she waved her hand to put away the fuda, trying to calm down her mood, and then she turned around and flew to the ground. Beside Gu Yao. This man is also her son's biological father anyway. I didn't expect such a scene to show his face in front of Gu Yao for the first time. Qi Bo was also worried that it would affect Qi Changjai's impression in Gu Yao's mind. Thinking like this, he disliked Zhong Zheyu more and more. Lagging behind. Xiaoao, when you see this surnamed Zhong in the future, you can detour and ignore him. That means, you don't need to treat him as a grown-up. As for the matter of doing things, it's up to her, whether it's Gu Yao or Qi Changjai. It is suitable for hands-on. Bai Jing said that it is also the elder of Gu Yao and Qi Changjai. Gu Yao heard the meaning of Qi Xian's words, and nodded obediently. I listened to my aunt. Qi Xian was in a better mood when she saw this, and smiled. That's right, it's right to listen to my aunt, the elders' matters are resolved by the elders. Everyone, let's see the joke. Xiaoao is a new member of Dangxia Peak, he's similar to my son, you can take care of our children in the future. Haha, easy to say, easy to say. Everyone couldn't help laughing when they heard it. Qi Bo had a son and a child. He was clearly clarifying the previous misunderstanding. He didn't know where Zhong Zheyu heard the rumors, but he even called at the door. The male compatriots present thought about the situation just now. Also feel a little ashamed. Teacher, we are leaving, do you want to leave? Shi Fan waved his hand and said, let's go, I have to set up a stall for a while. Qi Xian was speechless, took Gu Yao and waved to the crowd and left. On the way, Qi Xian received a message from Yin Shi and found someone. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 316. Guyao was pleasantly surprised. Did you find my uncle? Should be. Qi Xian knew that Guyao was worried about his uncle, so she dragged him back to Dangxia Peak and went directly to the Vice Peak where Yin Shi-I was located. Yin Shi-I was standing outside waiting for them. When he saw the two of them coming, he handed a shadow stone to Guyao. Alchemist Gu, take a look and see if the monk inside is the person Gu alchemist is looking for. Thank you. Guyao took it and looked at it quickly, and when he saw it, there was a big smile on his face. The two inside were not the uncle who was pretending to be an old man and the old demon who was pretending to be a tender spider. When he asked Kai's mother to find someone before, Guyao specially gave his uncle's appearance on the Qinhao continent. He just thought that his uncle would change his appearance to the original appearance in order to avoid Ling Yunzong's search at that time, so it looks like this senior brother Yin, that's them. Where did you find this? Yin Shi-I twitched the corners of his mouth when he thought of the cultivator who was completely different from the one on the reward order. If he hadn't known in advance, where would the two of them be linked? In a small town outside Lingyuan City, they should have just been enter the town to rest. Great, I'll go out of the sect to find them, thank you brother Yin. Guyao hurriedly went out to find someone, but Qi Xian wanted to help but Guyao refused. After all, it wasn't too far away, and a trip back and forth would not take a few days, so he said hello to Cao Songbei. Left the sect. On the way, his mind was much calmer. So it seems that the uncle and the old demon of the spider should have been near Lingyuan City and not too far away, but why did his messenger not respond? Guyao took out the transmitter and looked at it, but still no light came on. Looking at the messenger, Guyao sneered. He had the idea of rushing up to fight with him when he saw the old demon. He has done a lot of small things before, and this time he must have done it. Besides him, who else doesn't want to reunite with his uncle? The sky spider old demon, who was still resting in the town, suddenly felt cold in his vest, turned his head to look around, and there was nothing out of the ordinary. At this time, I heard the cultivator on the table next to him talking. Did you know about the recruitment of alchemists by Dangxia of Lingyuan sect? Although the requirements are much higher than that of Luoshengtang, if you can enter Lingyunzong, what is Luoshengtang? I really envy the alchemists who can enter. I also heard about it. I heard that this time, a 6th grade alchemist was recruited. Puff, I don't know where the 6th grade alchemist came from, but it has never been drawn over by other forces. I think it's just waiting for the opportunity to enter the section. How can other forces be compared with Lingyuan sect? Hearing this, the old demon of the sky spider groaned in his heart. It wouldn't be so coincidental. Yin Hua's eyes glowed when he heard it, and he sent a voice transmission to the person next to him. Hey, do you think this 6th grade alchemist could be my nephew Xiaoao? In terms of alchemy, who can compare with my family's Xiaoao? The old demon of the spider said bravely, it's unlikely, you forgot the messenger and it didn't respond. Besides, there are many talents in Wanluo continent, and the number of 6th rank alchemists is more than our Qinhao continent's 7th rank alchemist. More. Yin Hua, however, held the attitude of Ningkabiki's disbelief, so he inquired about the news from the monk on the table next to him. This fellow Taoist, do you know the name of the 6th grade alchemist who entered the Lingyuan sect? Although the question was abrupt, the other party didn't mind, because who wouldn't be envious? I didn't pay much attention to this, I just remembered that there is a 6th grade alchemist. If you want to know, you should be able to inquire at Lingyuan City, but if you want to ask for alchemy, it will be very difficult. Yin Hua laughed. I'm just curious, to tell the truth, this alchemist is my role model, although I am not an alchemist, but I am a talisman. Not sure when Lingyuan sect will also recruit talismans. Haha, then I wish you good luck. After Yin Hua thanked others, he took the old demon of the spider and left. Although he had some doubts about the old demon in his heart, he could not guarantee that the 6th grade alchemist was not his nephew. He had to wait until he went further. Situation can be judged. When Yinhua was not paying attention, the old demon of the spider patted his mouth. He wanted to remind him that it was dangerous to enter the city now, and there were people who were secretly searching for them, but if he mentioned it now, he would definitely be suspected of his intentions. I hope that this 6th grade alchemist is not Guyao anymore. He rolled his eyes, then pulled out his communicator and said, "Do you think my communicator is broken too?" Yinhua glanced at this suspiciously. It was because he had such a bad character that people couldn't fully trust him. He turned his head and said that if it's bad, it's bad, I didn't suspect the messenger before. This time, Yinhua decided to run the bloodline sensor every once in a while after entering Lingyun City. Of course, I won't tell this bastard. Lowest point. After Guyao went out of the city, he also thought about the spell of bloodline sensing. Although this spell has not been used before, it is not difficult. He also confirmed with Su Chen and practiced this spell while letting the flying instrument fly by itself. He also came out to let the wind out, and Zi Bao in the space was also very excited, and he was reluctant to part with the big brother Yinhua. A day later, when Guyao was practicing the bloodline sensing spell, he suddenly felt a very warm feeling in his blood, and he stood up suddenly. Is this, feeling the close bloodline within the range that can be sensed? Uncle. It must be uncle. Guyao continued to increase his bloodline induction spell, and the feeling did not stop, indicating that it was not his illusion, but that his uncle was really nearby. At the same time, Yinhua's heart suddenly jumped. As soon as his mind moved, he activated the bloodline induction spell. The induction made him almost jump with joy. It was his nephew who came here, and the 6th grade alchemist must be his nephew. He turned his head sharply to stare at the sky spider old demon, and stretched out his hand in front of him. Where's the messenger? Where is the old demon of the spider, still unaware of what happened? He said in his heart that the competition came so quickly, and his face changed, showing a look of surprise. Could it be that the ancient alchemist has come here? Did you sense him? Spray, it seems that my communicator is also broken. Maybe it's the result of that space storm in the tunnel. He pretended to take out the messenger, showing its true look. Look, it's really broken. Yinhua grabbed the messenger and put it in his storage ring. Don't think that he can be fooled by this appearance, and when he reunites with Guyao, let Guyao find someone to see what the problem with the messenger is. Where did it come from? Is it the ghost of this bastard? If it was his hands and feet, he had to kill him. The sky spider old demon's neck was cold, but he still maintained a startled expression. The two launched the spell at the same time, and the induction became stronger and stronger. Guyao even abandoned the flying magic weapon and flew at full speed by himself, which was faster. It's finally near, and you can sense the breaths of both sides getting closer and closer without launching a spell, until you see the other side's figure. Haha, Xiaoao, I knew you would come to find uncle. Uncle, you are fine. The uncle and nephew hugged each other, danced and laughed, and the old demon of the sky spider stood with his arms folded and his eyes were sore. It didn't take long for them to be apart. Is it necessary to be so affectionate? And the Chi Changai, he didn't rush over to pull his people away. When I was overjoyed, Yinhua realized that Guyao was the only one here. Looking back, there really was no one there, just you. That kid Chi Changai was lazy and didn't come out. Guyao's face collapsed. We're separated. I don't even know where big brother yet is now. Yinhua should have been secretly happy, but when he saw the sad and worried expression on the FSB, he was also worried, and comforted. It doesn't matter, with that guy's ability, there is no problem wherever he goes, and he fell into space before he looked. In the cracks, all the cultivation bases are gone. This is not all alive. Uncle, Guyao looked at uncle sadly. Did you say that, uncle? Once again, his heartbeat will stop. I found Aunt Chi, and Auntie went to ask the sect master of Lingyuan section. The sect master said that although Big Brother yet is a little troublesome, it will also be his chance. Tisk, this time Yin Hua and the old demon of the spider are both sore teeth together. They are envious and jealous. Yin Hua stopped the outer edition and said, have you entered the Lingyuan sect? Let me tell you, the people in the Lingyuan sect are not good people. Did you see that your uncle was offered a reward by the Lingyuan sect? If there are some in this sect, do you still talk to your uncle? Leave. Guyao couldn't help laughing and crying for a while, and the old spider demon was still beside him. Yes, your uncle is right, with the strength of the few of us, there is no way to break into the Swanluo continent. It was rare for Yin Hua to give the sky spider old demon a good face. Uncle, I have joined the Lingyuan sect now. I heard that the suzerain ordered the withdrawal of the uncle's reward order. Guyao explained with tears and laughter that there are scumbags in the Lingyuan sect, but it does not mean that the entire Lingyuan sect is black. I know, Yin Hua also knew that Qi Changjai was here, and it was impossible to pull his nephew away from Lingyuan Zong. Uncle went over to you, they wouldn't recognize me anyway. At the end, he became proud. You have to go, hurry up, it's not safe for you to come out. The three set off for Lingyuan City again. Yin Hua didn't think he would reveal his identity at all. On the contrary, the identity of the demon cultivator of the old spider was a conspicuous sign, so he had been hiding the breath of a cultivator during this period of time. It was revealed that, fortunately, there is no magic cultivator in Lingyuan City. As long as it is not an evil cultivator, the righteous path of Wanluo continent will not be very repelled. At this moment, in the main hall of Lingyuan sect, high-level officials are gathering here to discuss important matters. So, what Luo Shengtang did was just to hide people's eyes and ears. Are they sure that their target is a very important site? Sect Master Yuan concluded based on the information gathered. Sect Master, the ruins here are probably left by the first man in the mainland, the crazy sword demon, 10,000 years ago. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 317. Crazy Sword Demon and his life are still recorded in various sections. This name represents a dazzling brilliance in the era of Crazy Sword Demon. At that time, the entire Wanluo continent was unmatched. He was able to kill God Transformation Great Power with a single sword when he was at the height of Yuan Ying. After he broke through to God Transformation, he would be even more fierce and famous, with one sword and one sword. In the end, he could not find an opponent in this continent. Until many years have passed, there are still countless legends left. Some people say that he has gone to the spiritual world, and he must be able to create another glory that belongs to him. Some people say that he is too crazy, and it is very likely that he will finally practice swordsmanship to the point of becoming obsessed with magic, and he will die in an inaccessible place. Some people even said that after his swordsmanship was perfected, he shattered the space with a single strike and went to a place that no one knew about. It might be the spiritual world, and it was more likely that he went directly to the fairy world. The last statement is said by the cultivator who worshipped the mad sword demon and deified him. Others would just listen to it as a joke. Anyone who wants to dive into the turbulent flow of space will never return. The reputation of the magic cultivator in Wanluo continent is not too bad, maybe it has something to do with the mad sword demon. That's right, he is a sword cultivator of the demon Dao. The word crazy also describes his infatuation with swordsmanship. When he walked the continent with his sword, he had killed many evil cultivators, although Jendao had misunderstood him. He also beheaded the righteous monks under the sword, and then finally the truth came out, that is the righteous way, and he had to admit and respect his behavior. After the crazy sword demon disappeared, rumors began to spread on Wanluo continent. The reason why the crazy sword demon was so superb in swordsmanship was not only related to his own swordsmanship talent and perseverance, but also because he had a treasure that could help him practice swordsmanship. This legend has also caused many sword cultivators and even non-sword cultivators to follow the footprints left by the mad sword demon to track his whereabouts. However, in the end, all the cultivators did not gain anything. However, the treasure made all sects believe in it. Attitude: if there is a chance, I will never let this treasure go. So, is the treasure left by the crazy sword demon coming to life? Someone in the hall said excitedly, thinking of the past. Then what are you waiting for, sect master? Our Lingyuan sect can't miss this good opportunity, and we have to fight no matter what. At this moment, 3 messages were sent to the outside of the hall. Sect Master Yuan stretched out his finger and tapped it in the void. The 3 spiritual lights fell in front of him, and Sect Master Yuan let out his voice. The Sect Master invited the Sect Master of Lingyuan Zone Yuan to discuss the ruins of the crazy sword demon. Sect Master Yuan waved his hand away and said with a smile, "It seems that the other sects are not slow to respond, and they have all received this message. It can be seen that this time I have found the right place. Since this matter has alarmed all parties, then the ruins must be shared by everyone, and our Lingyuan sect can also get a share. In my opinion, it is better for us to jointly control the 4 forces. The legends left by the crazy sword demon are too amazing. Anyone who wants to monopolize them will become the target of the mainland's public criticism. Everyone, don't forget, after the crazy sword demon senior, the mainland there are still sects established in the name of senior crazy sword demon, and the strength of Qinghong sword sect is not weak." The high-level minds present calmed down a little, and felt that the sect master was right. If the Lingyuan sect wanted to enjoy it alone, he would only push the sect to the top of the limelight and make enemies everywhere. This was not in line with the purpose of the Lingyuan sect. According to the words of the sect master, everyone cupped their hands together. Then everyone, go back and make preparations. This sect master will go to discuss with other sect masters and come back later. As sect master Yuan's voice fell, his figure had disappeared in the hall, and everyone looked up to see the sect master's shadow, and they had become accustomed to it. They walked out very consciously and acted separately. Guyao didn't know what happened in the main hall of Lingyuan section after entering Lingyuan city. He placed his uncle and the old demon of the spider properly, and bought a house specially, because he is now also a nascent soul disciple of Lingyuan sect, and he is also a 6th rank. The alchemist, showing his ID card at the management office, can buy it at the internal price, which is also what Chibo told him before departure. After settling down, Guyao specially sent a message to Mother Chi, telling her that everything was fine, so don't worry. Mother Chi wanted to come to visit. How could this be her in-laws' home? But Chi Changjai didn't show up, and his relationship with Guyao was not officially disclosed, so what identity and reason did he come to visit? I had to hold it down first, and then privately let the disciples in the city take care of the monks living here. Guyao stayed with his uncle for several days, and talked about his own experiences after coming to Wanluo continent. On his face, Guyao thanked the old demon of the spider for taking care of his uncle, but the occasional expression of grinding his teeth made the old demon of the spider wear a vest. A little cold, alas, this child is getting harder and harder to deceive. Uncle, are you still short of spiritual stone envoys? Are you short of medicinal pills? Guyao grabbed his space and freed up a pile of spiritual fruits and other food and drink items. He couldn't stay outside all the time. Anyway, he just entered Lingyuanzong. Also perform more. But he didn't feel relieved to let his uncle stay outside. He wanted to take good care of his uncle from beginning to end. In fact, he wanted to bring his uncle into his own hill in the sect, but he felt that he would be restrained and not be able to run around. Yin Huitui accepted his nephew's filial piety without pushing him, and the smug look on his face made the old Spider-Man's teeth hurt. This was showing off to himself. There's no shortage, we don't have any shortages. If there's a shortage, my uncle will tell you, so you can go back with confidence. Uncle just happened to help you keep an eye on other people's whereabouts outside. Maybe they're all rushing here. By the way, Yinhua thought for a while and added, if there is anyone in the sect who dares to bully Xiaoyao, tell your uncle that you are not easy to clean up in the sect, and you will deceive people. Uncle gave you a hard meal. The surname is Zhou, don't you think? Guyao looked at the old demon of the sky spider in horror. The surname is Zhou? Yinhua patted the table and laughed. You still don't know what this guy's real name is, right? My uncle told you that his surname is Zhou, and his single name is Tiger. Ft. Guyao suddenly sprayed. The name of the old demon of the spider makes people sound arrogant and cool, but the name Zhou who is really not suitable for the identity of the old demon, Guyao dares to say. Just like in Yuanyang town, there were not 20 or 30 people named X-Tiger, but 17 or 8. No wonder in the Qinhao continent, no one ever mentioned the real name of the sky spider old demon. The sky spider old demon has endless black lines, isn't it just a name? Apart from the pair of uncles and nephews, who else dares to laugh at his name? Okay, just a smile is enough. Xiaoyao, hurry back to the sect, your uncle is here to take care of me. Guyao twitched the corners of his mouth. He was worried because he was being taken care of by the old demon, but he had to admit that the strength of the old demon of the sky spider, unless he was able to make a move, would have no opponent. Although the old demon sky spider's thoughts towards his uncle made his teeth itch, he couldn't help but admit that with this thought, the old demon would not let his uncle have any surprises. Okay, uncle, I have to go back first. This is a new messenger. Uncle, you have put it away. If you have anything, please contact me, or let the sect disciple outside send me a letter. Guyao ding uncle, I said goodbye to my uncle very reluctantly, and turned back to the sect. Yuanyang Peak. Zhong Changan asked the dog legs beside him, so that little white face isn't that woman's new love? Is it her junior? Yes, senior brother, there is a photo stone passed out. The woman called herself Auntie, and introduced the little white face to others as her junior, and asked the other nascent soul cultivators to take care of him. I heard that Dangxia Peak is now because of that woman's alchemy. Master Yin took good care of Xiaobalian, and sent 2 Jindan disciples to fight Xiaobalian. In order to please Zhong Changan, this disciple, of course, calls others according to his tone of voice, and gives him 1,000 courage. Han shouted in front of him, and his heart was empty. Damn it, Zhong Changan thumped the table angrily. Ever since the woman came back, he has been against him everywhere. This time, he lost his face again. He only went out to show his face, and he was laughed at by those guys. Forced back. It turned out that the Qi family had already fallen to their side. Zhong Changan was very proud of bringing the Qi family over. He was also very happy to use the resources of the Qi family. It was leaked out for him in the crack, so when that guy was there before, when he saw the resource spirit stone being held in front of him, Zhong Changan had long been jealous. But it didn't take long for Qi Xian, the hateful woman, to come back and rectify the Qi family from top to bottom. Now he can't think of getting a spirit stone from the Qi family, and the group of Kai's family will also become. They got rid of the grass in his eyes, useless things, and let a woman point fingers on their heads. It's a pity that he can only do some little things behind his back, because he saw the murderous intent in her woman's eyes, for fear that the woman would seize the handle and really kill him. Watching her make his father disgraced, he knew that he really had no feelings at all, so he didn't dare to gamble at all. His father was useless, he actually made this woman turn over. Senior brother, what shall we do next? The dog-legged man flattered and boarded the thief boat Zhong Changan, but now he has no way to get off, and can only go all the way to the dark. Let me think about it, you guys should also go down and discuss what to do. Whoever has a good idea will be greatly rewarded, Zhong Changan said in disgust. Yes, senior brother, then I'll go back first. After the withdrew, he wiped the cold sweat on his forehead, for fear of making Zhong Changan unhappy, but he managed to deal with it temporarily. Zhong Changan knew that even if he added his father, it would be difficult for him to deal with Chi Bo now. The little white-faced Guyao in his mouth was also a 6th-grade alchemist, and he would not necessarily be lower than his father after his cultivation level rose to this position. How to do? He picked up the photo stone sent by his subordinates, which contained the scene of Qi Xian fighting with Zhong Zheyu, as well as the image of Guyao. Zhong Changan was very fond of seeing the talisman pagoda that Qi Yu sacrificed. This talisman pagoda is the possession of the Qi family. With a very strong attitude, he took the talisman in his hand. Futa, he wanted to get it at the beginning, even if he was not a talisman, he couldn't exert 100% of his power, 70% to 80% was enough. He had heard that the Qi family was also of transformation before, and then it declined. Now, this pagoda was left behind when the ancestor of the god-turning ancestor left Wanluo continent, but unfortunately, with the woman Qi Xian, he had no chance. His eyes swept across Guyao's image indifferently, and Zhong Changan stood up abruptly. This alchemist, at first glance, didn't feel it, but if you look closely, it is clearly similar to the male cultivator Wang Yuzhi fancy. Wang Yuzhi saw it, could he not be moved? I would be very happy to use it as a substitute. Think of it and do it. Zhang Zhanggan picked up the photo stone and ran out. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 318. Somewhere in Wanluo continent, 4 figures walked out of the void step by step. Some people looked ordinary, but all of them were big people who could shake the entire continent by stomping their feet. 5 Elements Sect, Ancient Moon Sect, Wuji Palace, Lingyuan Sect, these 4 sects are the top sect forces in Wanluo continent, and the human race cultivators are all on par with these 4 sects. Yin Wuji, the palace master of Wuji Palace, was the first to speak. It seems that the news this time is correct. I didn't expect that a small Luo Shengtang would dare to try to cover up the secrets and get through the customs. Not to mention, Senior Crazy Sword Demon is a demon cultivator. Our Promise Palace will not stand idly by. The sect master of Guyu sect, Yu Kairong, is a beautiful woman with icy muscles and jade bones. Guyu sect is also dominated by female cultivators, and her strength is not weaker than that of other sections. She smiled and said, "What's the matter with Palace Master Yin? Say, let's wait until everyone comes, so as not to have any other accidents." Sect Master Sun of the 5 Elements sect and Sect Master Yuan of Lingyuan sect glanced at each other. "So you say that the Demon League also needs to be plugged in?" Yin Wuji suddenly became unhappy. What are those flat-haired animals making fun of? Is it difficult for them to practice their own clan's exercises and practice swords instead? What? Yin Wuji, you are still disliked by our demon clan? Senior Crazy Sword Demon is also a senior respected by our demon cultivators. Most of the juniors want to admire the glory of seniors. A voice came from far and near. Yes, who stipulated that demon cultivators can't practice swords? Besides, the senior mad sword demon is kind to our clan, and the clan leader has to go. As these 2 voices fell, a man and a woman appeared in front of the 4 of them. The first is Feng Lingjun, who has the blood of the Phoenix clan, and the other is Ao Meng, the blood of the Dragon clan. Wanluo mainland people are powerful, and the demon cultivators want to occupy the seat, so they have to unite to form a demon alliance. Although there are frictions between people and demon cultivators, high-level officials still move around each other. Yin Wuji snorted lightly and said nothing. The Portuguese sect master made peace. Since the demon alliance is here, let's start a discussion. This is a major event for our entire Wanluo continent. It's extremely. Sect Master Yuan had a shallow smile between his eyebrows and eyes, which made people look extremely comfortable, as if the smoke of gunpowder, no matter how big it was, it would disappear into the invisible. The 6 bosses were extremely efficient in their work. They quickly finalized the plan, and then each left. The place was calm again, but even if someone passed by, they could not detect the previous movement. On the top of the mountain where Guyao was located, a black cat rolled around with a ball of string in his arms. He was having a lot of fun, making senior sister Li and junior brother Song feel their hearts softened. They wanted to go up and hug them again. However, seeing the black cat smashing an extremely hard stone with one paw, the two had to watch from a distance. The spiritual pets raised by Master Gudan are also similar to their masters. They don't seem to be threatening, but they are all powerful. In addition to the black cat, a large pond was dug in front of the cave, filled with seawater, and then a large sea stalk occupied the entire pond. The nascent soul-level demon once threw it in, and after it was quickly swallowed and digested by the seaweed, the two did not even dare to approach the edge of the pond. Whether it is a black cat or a sea belt, they are very magical to these two people. They are also considered to be different among the spiritual pets raised by the disciples of Lingyun section. When the two were talking to the sea belt, the monk flew over from the sky. "Is Alchemist Gu here?" Alchemist Cao told Alchemist Gu to go to discuss matters. The man stopped in mid-air and said, "Wait a minute, we'll inform the ancient alchemist now." After a while, Guyao walked out and told the two of them to take good care of their home, and he went to the main peak's meeting room with the disciples who came to pass the message. Guyao originally thought that there was a task to be distributed to him, but when he arrived at the council hall, he found that things were a little different from what he thought, because the peak masters of Dangxia Peak came to the hall and sat on the main seat above. Yao has not seen this Qi Fengju since he entered Lingyun section. At present, Dangxia has translated the closest alchemist to the 5th grade alchemist. Guyao has seen Qi Fengju. Guyao respectfully bowed to Qi Fengju. Master Qi Feng stroked his beard, looked at Guyao kindly, smiled and said, "Junior brother Yin is talking about junior brother Gu, and junior brother Gu is here. If junior brother Gu enters my Dangxia peak, why not worry about the strength of my peak? Up, senior brother Gu, please take a seat." Yin Shi also sat on the side, bowing his hands to Guyao. Guyao also politely thanked him, and sat down next to Yin Shi. Cao Songbei was also there. Seeing such an exciting event, Guyao was really curious. What is the reason for summoning so many 6th grade alchemists this time? Yin Shi said through his voice, "Junior brother Gu, don't worry, this time is a good thing, and it's a good thing for the entire sect of my Lingyun section except for those who are in seclusion, or those who go out to practice and can't get back in time." 6. All the alchemists have gathered in the discussion hall. Guyao glanced at them. There are quite a few 6th rank alchemists. This is only a sect of Lingyun section. Looking at the entire Wanluo continent, the Qinhao continent is indeed far behind. When everyone arrived, Qi Fengju announced that the purpose of calling everyone this time was for the ruins left by Senior Crazy Sword Demon. As soon as the name Crazy Sword Demon was thrown out, it attracted a lot of discussion in the hall, and Guyao was dumbfounded. Although he was in the collection pavilion when he had time, he didn't have time to digest such content, not to mention this was thousands of years ago. Yin Shi found Guyao's appearance interesting, so he explained the deeds and various legends of Senior Crazy Sword Demon to him. Guyao couldn't help but show admiration when he heard it. This title is not something that all strong people can afford, but now among the great powers of the gods in Wanluo continent, who would dare to say that he is the first person in the continent? At that level, the difference in fighting power of everyone is not too big. Even if you can't beat it, you can retreat calmly. Therefore, at this level, there are very few people who are able to fight for life and death, because the result is often killing the enemy. Dry, self-inflicted 800, the end of both losses. Peak Master, is what happened this time true? It's not another fake news, is it? Qi Fengju smiled and said, "It should be true, the news was blocked by Luo Shengtang before, and now it has been verified by the major sects, then our 4 major sects and the Demon Alliance will join hands. Gu Yao was surprised when he heard it, but he still has something to do with Luo Shengtang? Could it be that Luo Shengtang recruited monks and fighters such as alchemists and talismans for the sake of the ruins? He wasn't very interested at the time, so he just thought about coming to the Lingyun sect master sect and meeting with Qi Changjai and the others, but he didn't expect to go around and run into this again. Crazy Sword Demon, for some reason, when he heard this name, he thought of Qi Changjai. Could it be that there is no news from Brother Ye, because of the ruins of the Crazy Sword Demon? Senior, do you think it will be related? Gu Yao somehow thought of the Sword Pavilion when listening to other alchemists talking about the sword practice treasure of the Mad Sword Demon Senior. Although Qi Changjai did not take back the Sword Pavilion in Tianlin continent owned, but he bears the imprint of the Sword Pavilion. It's hard to say, it's been so long. If it wasn't for my own involuntarily, I should rush back to Rising Cloud section because Su Chen has seen the Sword Pavilion. He will no longer use the Pill Pavilion to belittle the Sword Pavilion. It is not inferior to the Pill Pavilion. The existence of the sword, how much magic there is in the Sword Pavilion, he can't guarantee it before he knows it. Whether it's related or not, this time I'm going to see it. Gu Yao licked his lips and said, the feeling in his heart became stronger and stronger, and this feeling told him to go. Mr. Brothers and sisters, this operation also needs the assistance of our alchemist. I can't guarantee that I will not be involved in danger, so whether you want to participate in this operation depends on your wishes. Peak Master Qi threw out the ultimate goal. Some people were hesitant, and some people said they wanted to participate on the spot. Don't think that they are crispy alchemists, but they also admire and yearn for the Mad Sword Demon Senior with super close combat power. Somehow can you miss the opportunity to get up close and personal? Junior brother Gu, what do you mean? Qi Fengju looked at Gu Yao. Of course he hoped that young cultivators could participate as much as possible. It was also an excellent opportunity for alchemy masters. Gu Yao nodded and said, I am willing to act together with everyone. Okay, haha. Qi Fengju was very satisfied, and asked everyone to go back to prepare and wait for the sect's notice to set off. Gu Yao said to his mother Qi and his uncle respectively, and went back to his own cave to retreat. Thinking that it was the ruins left by the first person in the mainland, the Crazy Sword Demon, he didn't dare to be careless, and his current cultivation base is still weak. You have to seize the time to improve as much as possible. At this time, he was very grateful for the celestial marrow spirit liquid given to him by Shifen. This thing is no worse than taking medicinal pills, and it will not produce erysipelas, nor will it affect the effect of medicinal pills. There are medicinal pills and this celestial marrow spirit with the dual effects of the liquid. He believed that he would definitely be able to advance to the middle stage of nascent soul before departure. At the same time, Qi Xian is also considering whether to participate in this operation. Before she received Gu Yao's summons, she was also informed by the main peak of Fufeng, and let Gu Yao worry about his safety alone, but she also knew that she should not stop it. Cultivators set foot on this road, which means facing different dangers. Yin Hua is playing with the messenger, Crazy Sword Demon? The first person in Wanluo continent 10,000 years ago? You want to go? The old demon of the spider also heard some rumors outside, and he has a great relationship with Luo Shengtang. He is also interested in intervening. Who made the Mad Sword Demon a senior demon cultivator? I really want to see, Fan. Well, if you want to go, of course you can't miss such a good opportunity. Yin Hua, who was still a little hesitant, heard the voice of the old spider, but strengthened his determination to go. Why does he still hide his appearance? Isn't it because he is not strong enough? If he has the power to transform into a god, that dares to look at him with that kind of eyes, he will dig out his eyeballs at the first time. And then the cultivation base was abandoned, and people were thrown into the Nanfan building to pick up customers. Yin Hua is also very lazy when he is lazy, but he is very decisive and neat when it comes to action, so he packs his bags immediately. Xiaoyao is going to set out with Zhongmen, let's take a step first, and we can take care of him when we get there. Sometimes it is easier for people to do things in the dark. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 319. A month later, when Guyao walked out of the cave, senior sister Li led the other three to wait outside, and it was the first time to congratulate Guyao. From the early stage of yuanying to the middle stage of yuanying, the movement was not small, and a vortex of spiritual energy was formed above the cave. After a little investigation, I knew that Guyao was in the Jin rank. While envious and sighed, I had to admire Cao who recruited Guyao in pines and cypresses. It took a long time to break through and advance. It didn't take long for someone to inform Guyao to set off. Guyao left the cave to the four disciples to take care of, and then took the cub and the sea to join the crowd. Seeing him appreciated, Yin Shi said, "Yes, I've advanced so quickly." He felt that Guyao grasped the timing just right. Going out and taking action would make him more confident. Guyao smiled and said, "Thanks to the good things that Uncle Shifan gave me, otherwise I wouldn't be able to catch up." The situation in Yunji and Fang City was actually seen by many nascent soul cultivators, so it also spread. At this time, the other nascent soul cultivators who listened to their conversation secretly said that Guyao was lucky. That is, they are not good things that they can get by trying to get them. That old guy, Shifan, is so optimistic about Guyao. However, breaking through so quickly also proved Shifan's vision from another aspect. This time, Dangxia Peak was led by an alchemist from the late nascent soul. After everyone arrived, he led the crowd to join the main force. Because Guyao has been retreating and breaking through, he didn't know the situation during this period, so Yin Shi introduced him on the way. Although they started in this group, a group of disciples went to the outpost as early as when they decided to act. The same is true for other sect forces. The alchemist and the talisman are not the first-line combatants, so it doesn't have to be in the first batch. When we arrived at the main peak, Lingyun Peak, I saw a lot of monks coming to the square in front of the main hall, including nascent soul and Jindan, so many gathered together, it was very oppressive. Guyao looked towards the main hall, the word Lingyun was written on the top, and only felt that the whole soul was going to be dragged in by these two words. Guyao quickly shook his head to get rid of this feeling, staggered his eyes, and left this place behind. The two-word monk is definitely not the strength of Yuan Ying. Guyao saw Kai's mother and smiled towards Kai's mother. When he was out of the customs, he received a call. He knew that Kai's mother also participated in the operation, and there was also from his uncle. He knew that his uncle left when he was just in retreat. Haruka is in favor of the opinion, even if he can't participate in it personally, it's good to have some experience. I don't know if Brother Tian and Fatty got the news and rushed over. It would be nice if they could meet there. The main hall master walked out of a monk in green clothes, step by step without rushing, and many monks saluted this person, sect master. It turns out that this is the Yuan sect master of Lingyun section. Guyao found that he could not see through him at all. What is the strength of the Yuan sect master? You don't have to be too polite, we'll go now. After starting out, a vortex appeared in the sky, and then spit out a huge dragon boat from the center of the vortex, covering all the figures below, giving people a very shocking and spectacular feeling, and Guyao was also stunned. Be confident. It was the first time he saw this dragon boat, but the other nascent soul monks were not. As soon as the dragon boat appeared, all the monks flew up, and Guyao followed after other alchemists reminded him. Originally, he felt that the dragon boat was very special. It is huge, and when you get to the top, you feel that the space inside is wider, and it can carry more than a few dry soils. After all the people came up, the dragon boat moved, and soon passed through a barrier, that is, the great formation of protecting the sect, and left the section. The speed of the flight was no slower than that of other flying instruments. People in the dragon boat could not feel it at all. In flight, the dragon boat seemed to be a small world of its own. There was a place to live and a place for leisure and entertainment. The attic for living was 9 stories high. Guyao, this bunker, had only one feeling left, and that was poverty. He used to think that he was rich and powerful, but now he feels that he is very poor. With all his net worth, it is estimated that it is only enough to build a small part of this dragon boat, not to mention that he is now listening to his mother Chi introduce to him that this dragon boat flight is for those who rely on high-quality spiritual stones. The high-quality spiritual stones spent on a flight trip is not a small number, and Guyao was shocked to hear it. Seeing Guyao's undisguised shock, Qi Xian couldn't help but feel amused. I know this is a big guy who eats spirit stones, but it's not a particularly important occasion, so the sect master will not send this big guy out. After all, this is a big guy. When several major sects gather together, our Lingyuan sect cannot weaken our reputation. Understand, Guyao understands, this is more than ostentation. Qi Xian led Guyao to visit the dragon boat and introduced him to the scenery on the boat from time to time. Before Qi Xian heard from Yin Shi'ai that Guyao had made a breakthrough, she was very pleasantly surprised. Seeing Guyao today is even more exciting, so fast she broke through, and her breath was not frivolous, indicating that she was not forced to break through in a hurry. The foundation was also very solid, and she was really no worse than her son. Guyao originally wanted to say that he suspected that Qi Changjai would have something to do with the sight of the crazy sword demon, but after thinking about it, he suppressed it. This is just a little feeling in his mind, and there is no real evidence. If he doesn't see Qi Changjai by then, wouldn't it make my aunt and Ruo disappointed? Well, my uncle and Senior Joe have already set off first. When they get there, they will communicate with each other. We won't be able to contact you this time, Guyao said with a smile. But Qi Xian stopped at this moment. Her breath was slightly heavy. Guyao looked forward suspiciously, and saw 2 people leaning on the pavilion on the hillside in front of them. Looking over there, one of them was Guyajian. The passing Zhong Changan, while the other person stared straight at Guyao, made Guyao frown. Let's go. Qi Xian also noticed another person's gaze, very angry, turned around with Guyao, and told him through voice transmission, Wang Yuzhu is the one who stayed with Zhong Changan. You have to be careful of this person. This kid relies on his grandfather to act recklessly, but Jindan doesn't even care about nascent soul disciples. But now the sect master is on the boat, forgive him and don't dare to cause trouble. It was this person. Guyao's eyes flashed with coldness. It was this who had bad intentions towards his uncle, and now he still wanted to hit him on the head. So what if he had Elder Hua Shen as his backing? The place they are going is not a safe place, and even nascent soul disciples may not be able to retreat, not to mention a golden pill. Be careful, no matter what you do, don't get caught. Qi Xian is also angry. If the opportunity is right, she doesn't mind taking action. How dare she look at her son's Taoist companion with such eyes? Guyao nodded slightly. Of course, he wouldn't let anyone grab the handle. It just so happened that the uncle and the old demon of the spider had also passed by. He thought, the old demon of the spider would be very happy to hear the news. When they met these 2 people, Qi Xian and Guyao lost their interest in wandering and went back to their respective rooms. After Guyao entered the room, he sent a message to the old demon of the spider, and the newly purchased transmitter could transmit far enough. The distance, even if he can't receive it temporarily, he will send it every once in a while, until he receives a response. He can't kill that bastard. Seeing the disappearance of the 2 figures, Zhong Changan turned back and smiled meaningfully. Brother Wang, there are some similarities. I see it right. The expression on Wang Yuzhu's face was a little distorted, like excitement and depression. Yes, compared to that guy, he looks a little more tender, but he can see a bit of style. He really just came from outside. He has the same surname as Qi. What is the relationship with the woman? Zhong Changhan's eyes flashed, and he said, what about the elders and the younger generation? But I have searched for a lot of time, but I have not found any conclusive evidence. Wang Ji, don't worry, I asked the Qi family to investigate. Whether it is the Qi family or the family that is close to the Qi family, there is no such thing as such a person, otherwise he would have been known by the Qi family long ago as a 6th-grade alchemist. Zhong Chang'an thought maliciously, saying that the elders and juniors are not deliberately confounding others' attention, or that the woman has a hobby in this area. The reason why he beat Wang Yuzhu is not against Gu Yao, but the woman Qi Xian. It is best to let the woman Qi Xian confront Elder Wang, and let Elder Wang personally come forward to solve her, and he can rest easy from now on. As for that guy Qi Changjai, Zhong Chang'an never thought that he would come back one day, so he didn't know where to live. Okay, my brother knows your intentions, and when we get there, my brother will find a chance to do it. Wang Yuzhu's eyes were evil, and it was not normal for a few monks to disappear when he got there. The last thing was in his heart. A deep shadow was left behind, and he wished to find the man and torture him day and night, listen to him beg for mercy, and finally crush him to ashes. But the people he sent out in private were so useless, he didn't even catch a shadow, and the anger in his heart had nowhere to go. Seeing this new alchemist from Dangxia Peak this time, Wang Yuzhu's heart suddenly burst into flames. I found a vent, and I can't wait to get people over. Haha, then my brother wishes brother Wang all the best and all the best, Zhong Chang'an said proudly. The muscles on Wang Yuzhu's face twitched and twisted, looking extremely ferocious. Zhong Chang'an was not uneasy, but the more he did, the better for his plan. In the following time, Gu Yao never stepped out of the alchemist's territory. He was not in the room to adjust his breath and read a book, or communicated with other alchemists on his own site. Mother Qi visited and was very satisfied with the situation. The battle of the dragon boat trip was very large, and other monks avoided wherever they flew, and this eye-catching dragon boat was known to all monks. Needless to say, Ling Yunzong's trip was also for the ruins. Yinhua and the old demon of the sky spider have already rushed to the periphery. Several forces have joined forces to block it. Luo Shengtang is still wrangling with several forces. The two are not in a hurry. The more detailed the situation, the better. Sensing the movement of the messenger, the old devil Tianzu took it out and looked at it, and immediately revealed a bloodthirsty smile. It's just right, I accept this old demon of favor, really caring and good nephew. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 320. Over the mountains, across the ocean, the dragon boat reaches its destination. The dragon boat stopped in mid-air as a stronghold of Lingyun sect. Gu Yao and other nascent soul fellows stood in mid-air, and saw several other behemoths that were also parked in the air. Just looking at the momentum of the dragon boat was not inferior to Ling Yunzong's, it could be said that they were on par. Come on, let's go down. The leader of the cultivator gave an order, and a group of nascent soul Jindan disciples flew down in a mighty manner. It was very spectacular. The first batch of disciples had already established a station here, and several major sects were connected together. Not to the end. It didn't take long for Gu Yao and his group of alchemists to be informed about the current situation and the current tasks of these alchemists. They are currently in the periphery, and further ahead is the famous and dangerous death demon domain of Wanluo continent. It is a place that many demon cultivators like to explore, but it is also extremely dangerous inside. There is a situation where the demons have gone into the devil and become demonized, so the magic cultivators did not dare to go too deep into the exploration, but the various materials brought out from it were highly sought after by the magic cultivators. Originally, the situation in this demon realm of death was relatively stable, but there were some changes 5 years ago. Now it seems that it should be caused by the eruption of the demonic energy inside. A large number of demonized monsters ran out of the demon realm of death and attacked the nearby monks. Attracted some attention from some forces, and finally Luo Shengtang blocked the place. According to some monks in Luo Shengtang, they found that some magical beasts that ran out of it, that is, those demonized monsters, had scars caused by sword energy on their bodies, plus some clues that monks risked their lives to find out. Boldly it is inferred that the things left by the senior crazy sword demon are inside, and I don't know what happened that caused the breath to leak out. The environment in the devil's realm is very special. The monks who enter it are affected by the energy of the breath inside. They are lightly confused, and if they are serious, they are transformed into monsters like the monsters inside. Therefore, our alchemists are not only refining the existing in addition to the medicinal pills that can restrain this situation, we must try our best to develop new medicinal pills that can completely eliminate the negative effects caused by the environment inside. Many alchemists gasped. The latter task was not easy. Refining the existing medicinal pills was very simple. As long as the materials were sent, the furnace could be opened for alchemy. However, it was not an easy task to develop new medicinal pills. For a sect such as Lingyun sect, the disciples did not come here to this demon realm of death for training. Except for the great powers who want to break through the opportunity, very few people come here, so there is also very little research on the environment here. After the task was handed out, everyone quickly got busy. Guyao also went to get an alchemy material, and a jade slip that recorded various situations. There were some elixirs for refining some sectarian medicinal herbs, as well as the current knowledge. If you want to know more about the various characteristics and functions of the materials grown in the devil's domain of death, you can also collect these materials at the designated location. To go further, you need to enter the devil's domain of death to explore in person. Guyao was not in a hurry to enter the demon realm of death. He first refined the medicinal pills distributed to him, and then had time to think about other things. He is more worried that if Qi Changjai is really inside, the situation he will face will be very dangerous. Will the medicinal pills he reserves for Qi Changjai not be enough? The place where Kai's mother is staying is not far from Guyao, but she also has tasks, so there is not much time to communicate. Guyao handed over the refined medicinal pills, and the senior who was in charge of the inspection was very satisfied. Not only was the speed fast, but also the quality was high, and he was very fond of this new alchemist. Does Gu alchemists still need to get approval materials? Or want to see something else? Guyao said, "Give me another batch of materials, and I will also have a copy of the materials I found in it, and I want to see what the difference is." "Okay, let's get it from Master Gu." Guyao took the materials and came out, and the messenger made a move. When he took it out, he took a look and saw that it was a message from his uncle, asking about his situation, and a message from the old demon of the sky spider, but he didn't check it in time in alchemy before. The message from the sky spider old demon is more interesting, because he wants to meet with him to discuss the matter. It seems that the sky spider old demon really wants to take this opportunity to kill that bastard. This is also in Guyao's mind. After thinking about it, he returned the message and asked about their current location. It happened that he also needed to move around and inquire more about the situation of the demon realm of death, so he returned to the temporary cave mansion and the leader of the team, Senior Brother Wei. After saying hello, I went to the monks' settlement here. This settlement was originally formed spontaneously by the monks who came to the death demon realm to practice. The 4 major sects and the Demon Alliance came here to replace Luo Shengtang, and with the addition of Daji Sangzio attracted by the ruins of the Mad Sword Demon, this settlement became more and more prosperous and lively. Guyao had heard other alchemists mentioning the situation here before, and alchemists had traded good items here, so when Guyao said he was coming, no one thought there was a problem. After flying for a distance, Guyao saw the city wall towering above the ground. The symbolism of the city wall is greater than the defensive significance. If there are big monsters rushing over, he can't control it at all, but he wants to break through the 4 sections. The joint defense line with the Demon Alliance is not so easy. Guyao landed down and entered the city gate. His status as a disciple of Lingyun sect allowed him to drive straight in here. Not long after he entered the city gate, 2 more monks appeared, glanced at each other, and stepped into the city gate together. But after passing the city gate, the 2 monks found that the breath of the person they followed all the way was missing, and they were suddenly surprised. Wouldn't it be that he found out that we were following him? It's unlikely, we didn't come from Ling Yunzong's residence, and there are not many monks coming here. Why do you think that? Are we following him? Maybe there are too many people and the breath is mixed. Hurry up and look for it, don't really lose people. The 2 acted separately to find Guyao's whereabouts, but Guyao knew that he was being targeted. How could he not pay attention to his whereabouts when he was out alone? He had long found that 2 eyes were wandering on him. Those who are familiar with him will definitely not be so careless, but how many monks here know the power and specialness of his consciousness? So after arriving at the gate of the city, Guyao quickly took away his breath and jumped into the crowd, changing his appearance without a trace, until he made sure that no one was following him, and then wandered freely in the settlement. Get up and walk towards the place agreed with your uncle. There are quite a few monks who set up stalls. Guyao walked through a market. There were stalls on both sides. Some of them were very inattentive, just waiting for the monk to automatically deliver it to the door. There are various and complicated items, some good ones, some shoddy ones, and even a bunch of miscellaneous items placed together. Guyao has a lot of things he wants to buy, but he has to meet his uncle first, and he can only go out to Dobeo after meeting. When they arrived at the restaurant, Guyao saw 2 people sitting at the window downstairs, waved at them and entered the restaurant. Seeing Guyao's change of appearance, Yinhua asked worriedly, "Is anyone embarrassing you?" "No, since I came here, I have been refining alchemy at the station. How could anyone come over to make trouble?" "Don't worry, uncle. But there are 2 people behind me, and I got rid of them when I entered the city gate." "Uncle, you guys, are you okay these days?" Guyao was worried that his uncle and the old demon of the spider wanted to enter the demon realm of death. As far as he knew, the speed of the joint efforts of several major forces was not fast. But it also made me see the courage of the big sect forces to do things. If the scattered cultivator acts, the probability of being in danger is extremely high, but the sect movement relies on a large number of cultivators to push in layer by layer, and the places they pass will also be laid out. Become a safer and more secure area. Yinhua pouted, "What's wrong with us? We stay in this place all day, eating, drinking and doing nothing. Anyway, I don't want to go in that ghost place. By the way, it won't be late. That kid's luck is so bad, it's really bad. Did you come into this place?" Seeing his uncle's schadenfreude expression, Guyao had a severe headache, and Yinhua waved his hand again and said, "Okay, no joke, don't worry, although that guy's luck is a bit bad, it won't be too bad," saying, "It might run away at some point." Guyao twitched the corners of his mouth. Was his uncle really comforting him? It feels better not to say it. The 3 exchanged the information they had learned. Yinhua and the 2 came here ahead of time and collected a lot of information from the loose cultivators and the disciples of the major sections. They did not know less than Guyao, but were more comprehensive. I distributed some of the elixir I refined this time to Yinhua and the old demon, and kept it for self-defense. "Senior, are you saying that the energy in there is not owned by Wanluo continent? Could it be leaked from somewhere else?" The old demon of the spider explained with a smile, "You know I am a demon cultivator, but the energy in the demon domain cannot even be absorbed by the demon cultivator, which is very problematic in itself. Since it is called the demon domain, it is inseparable from the demon. Demon cultivation, really speaking, it is not really the way of magic. In this world, there is yin and yang, there is righteousness and demons, and if there is a world of self-cultivation, there will be a world of demons, and there are countless demons living in the realm of self-cultivation. At best, it has absorbed the cultivation methods of the demons and transformed it on the basis of the human cultivation techniques. Guyao did not doubt the authenticity of this statement. He has experienced the interstellar world and understands that there are multiple worlds in this world, so it is not surprising that such a demon world exists. Is the energy leaking from the demon world?